Okay, hi, it's been a minute. This video has been quite a long time coming. It's one that I wanted to make a while ago, but I was unable to. Straight up unable to physically talk about this because the fact is, over the last 17 years, I have been dealing with alternate personalities living inside of me. It is commonly known as multiple personality disorder, though officially it's called dissociative identity disorder, DID. But for the sake of this, multiple personality disorders and their alters. Alternate personalities, alters. It is so strange being able to talk about them to anyone, because over the last 17 years I have been a bit of a prisoner inside my own mind. Whenever I'd want to bring this up to someone, I would often be stopped, be cut off, be unable to talk about it because my alters didn't want it brought up. I had a hard time bringing it up in even therapy because my alters would step in and they would come forward to my mind and I would be pushed back and out, and they would say whatever they wanted to say, which was generally not what I wanted to talk about, but you know, they just wanted to keep themselves to themselves. They didn't want us to be out there. But they are gone. They've been gone for about a week now. A little over a week. I think I might even be coming up on 2 weeks. 2 weeks with no alters. Yeah, so my first alter, I became aware of her when I was 11 years old. I don't know how long she had been around, but she was already a pretty well-developed personality. She was 23 years old. She was a total sociopath. She was very logical, very calculating. She saw people around us as assets instead of people. And so she didn't really have relationships with other people. I had a relationship with her, but she thought less of me. She believed that my emotions were a weakness, that my relationships with people were a weakness, and she was really good at getting stuff done. I really came to know her because I started doing theater when I was 11 years old, and I was really nervous to go on stage, and that is when I discovered her. And if I let her take over, she could go on stage, no nerves. She didn't care what other people thought of her. She was fearless, and I really admired that about her. She just didn't really give a care about anyone else's opinion, which was a very healthy thing for me at the time. It was a very good thing, but her approach was sociopathic. Like, it wasn't a healthy approach to a regular life. So I couldn't constantly be Caroline. I couldn't let her just take over because she wasn't able to be normal. I didn't really know any other alters for a very long time. I knew they were there. Caroline would talk about them. I could conference with them in my mind. I could see them. I didn't really talk to them though. I talked to Caroline. I knew Caroline, I knew her name, I knew her story. Like, I understood her, and I didn't know the others. They did their own thing. They would sometimes come forward, but I don't really remember it. I was just, in the past few years, I've been losing a lot of time. I've been having a lot of gaps that I just don't remember stuff, and since my alters have gone, since we have all been reunited into one, I have not been having blanks. I've not been losing time. But in the past 2 years, I guess, I discovered a new alter that was living inside my mind, and she absolutely detested me. She thought so little of me that she didn't think little. She wanted to destroy me. She would sacrifice her own existence to get rid of me. She sent me to a very dark, suicidal kind of place. She sent me into a spiraling depression because she would sit, like, she would just all day constantly be telling me what a joke I am, how worthless I am, that I'm useless, that I'm just, that I would be better, that everyone would be better off without me, that my purpose was to get rid of myself, was to kill myself. That was my purpose in life, and she would do this all the time. I couldn't sleep because she was constantly just chatting away in my head, telling me that I was worthless. And she devised a plan to take me away from my family. Now this sounds so dramatic and weird, right? I mean, she was essentially going to kidnap me. I was going to kidnap myself. Basically, her big plan was pack up and leave. Just one day, Robert's gone to work, I pack up the car and I leave. I abandon the children. Robert gets home, the children are here, and I'm gone. And it scared me. Her plan terrified me because she got to a point where she was so strong, she was able to just come forward in my mind and take over whenever she wanted. So this new alter, I never knew her name. I just knew her intentions, and I knew she was just no good. She was no good. And I finally was able to, one night, I finally got enough control that I was able to tell Robert what was going on, my husband. And I just kept crying that if I disappeared, I didn't want to. Like, this wasn't my idea, it's not my plan, I don't want to go, I don't want to go. Help me, help stop her. And it must have been very confusing for him because I had not spoken about her. He knew about Caroline. He was aware that I had multiple personalities, and he had seen different ones come out. He was aware I had been losing time. He was the one who really figured out I was losing time because we'd have conversations, and then later on he would reference that conversation and I'd be like, what are you talking about? So he was the one that figured out that I was having serious gaps. But I told him about this personality. I was finally able to tell him. And you may or may not believe in God. I am a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, and there is a power that we believe in, the power of the priesthood, and it's power bestowed on the righteous to use through God. I mean, only if you are righteous may you access this power. It sounds strange when I say it that way. I've grown up understanding this my entire life, so he asked if I wanted a blessing, if he could help bless me and try to heal my mind and basically banish this altar. And at that point my altar came forward and would not allow me to speak. I was crying and she just shut me down. She just totally shut everything off, and I was just sitting there vegetating. I mean, like, I couldn't move, I couldn't speak, I couldn't do anything because she had come forward and she didn't want us talking about it. She didn't want me talking about it. She didn't want us to get help. And Caroline, being the strongest personality, because she had been there forever, she came forward, she pushed the other one aside, and she told Robert, yes, you can give us a blessing. Yes, we want this. And he gave me a blessing, and they were gone. I was crying when he started giving me a blessing. I was sobbing. Caroline came forward. She didn't have emotion, so she shut off my crying, basically. I just sat there unfeeling because she was void of emotion. So when Robert finished the prayer, the blessing, I felt my emotions all rush back in, my control come back. I started crying again, and they were gone. I haven't heard them since. I haven't heard them chattering. I haven't had any evidence of them being around anymore. And it's strange, it's quiet. It's quiet in my mind. I have such more control in my life now than I have had in years. Years. I've been trapped inside of my mind for years, a prisoner to my alters for years. They believed I was worthless and weak and that I couldn't do anything. Keisha was the weak personality. Keisha was the personality we didn't want to be. They didn't see me as the original. They didn't see me as the host. They saw me as just another alter, the weak alter. And now we've all been put back together. I can understand. I mean, sometimes I feel useless, you know? Sometimes I get down, I get depressed. Sometimes I can get really serious and focused into something like Caroline could. But it's still me. I'm still in control of it all, and it's very strange. It must seem very normal to everyone else to be able to just control how you feel, control who you are, your actions. But I haven't had that in years. Years. I'm back. I'm back. That is all I can keep thinking is I made it. I made it through mental hell and I came back. I couldn't make these videos for a long time because as soon as I started talking mental health, the alters thought it was a sign of weakness to show others how I was doing, to share that I have mental illnesses. They wanted to normalize me as much as possible. They didn't want us to seem weak or different. They just wanted to be as normal as possible. But this feels a lot more normal. Multiple personality disorder is a strange one. It is. It started for me as a coping mechanism to be able to handle the different mental illnesses I was dealing with, to deal with my shyness and where I felt inadequate. It was a coping mechanism for me to get out of myself, to be able to be friends with people, to talk to people. I've dealt with so much social anxiety that having Caroline as an alter and not caring about what other people think, not having any social anxiety at all, that was great. But she ultimately became an unhealthy coping mechanism. To simply shut off my emotions was not the way to deal with things, and I began to understand that after I had children, because when I would get overly stressed with my kids, Caroline would just step in and shut off all of our emotions. It was toxic. I was becoming a toxic parent, and ever since they've been gone, everything's gone so much better. My kids behave so much better. They listen to me better. I react better. You know, Callum finds a bowl of cereal, of uneaten cereal on the table, pulls it down, spreads it all over my nice white rug. Before, that would have devastated me. It would have ruined my entire day. Now, I picked that up, I wiped it up, I vacuumed a bit, I wiped down surfaces, I put the bowl away, and I was done. And then we moved on with our day. It didn't stop my day. Like, I'm trying to explain this, that like you can understand. I would wake up in the morning absolutely exhausted. I would wake up and getting downstairs and plopping myself down on the couch was just about all I could do. Was just about my limit, because I was dealing with carrying all these other personalities and all these other opinions and preferences, and we couldn't agree on what to eat. I would just not eat because we couldn't agree on it, because one of my personalities thought we shouldn't eat at all because we need to lose weight, and the other personality, you know, wanted cereal and wanted the sugary goodness, and another personality's like, no, we need to make proper breakfast for the family, go make pancakes. So I just wouldn't do anything. I mean, I would be paralyzed with just feeling unable to function. And now I have a schedule set for my kids, like for myself. We get up, we do our morning chores. I mean, we do breakfast, we do our morning chores. They get to play the game on the video game stuff for a little while, and then we get off of that and we work on lunch together, and we just do stuff. We leave the house on occasion. I went shopping by myself yesterday and it was fine. I don't know. I wish I could explain just how good I feel, but it's hard to even put it into words. It's hard to get it into words because it's been remarkable. It's been life-changing. I feel so good. I've had down days. In the past 2 weeks that I've not had alters, I've had down days. I've had depression still. I've had depression since I was 5 years old when I first tried to kill myself. I didn't think that was gonna go away. I have anxiety about going out. I have anxiety about all the list of things of getting ready to go and getting all the kids in the car and making sure I got everything. Yeah, I still have that, but I can actually do something. I can have ambitions in my life. I can make a YouTube video when I want to. Ah! I did yoga this morning. Who is this girl? I like her. And she is sticking around. She is sticking around. This is me, Keisha. And I'm doing great. Thanks for watching. Stick around. I don't know how things are gonna go. I feel new to the world. Let's do this. I'll see you later, okay? Bye, friends.